What's up, everyone? This is Lexia. I'm joined tonight by Not Paradox, casting Division C East, Die for Vision versus LuBu. Quickly, before we get into draft, we have LuBu that picked the first map because they are the higher seed, and Die for Vision decided to pick Cursed Hollow. The bans in order for maps go as follows: Battlefield of Eternity, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Braxis Holdout, and Volskaya. Almost all of my favorite maps are banned. Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah. Also, some strange maps are banned, but I'm always excited for Cursed Hollow. It's one of those maps that you can see my favorite hero, which is Abathur. Unfortunately, it'll probably be banned, but I'd like to see Abathur being played. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping for that.
We'll see if that little slug gets through the draft. All right, let me let them know that we are ready. Welcome if you are watching. And looks like there's quite a bit of fruit talk, so let's get that stopped immediately. What is your favorite fruit?
My favorite fruit, that's a tricky one. You know, I stopped eating fruit for a while, so I'm like trying to think because I was on no carb for like a year. I don't know. I think like I used to love like smoothies, and I'd always have like banana and strawberry smoothies, and those were like my favorite. So there's that. I like that. I don't know. There's maybe oranges. I like oranges.
A nice citrus.
Yeah.
So uplifting.
It's like not too sweet though, you know? It's like there's not too much sugar in oranges. It's just I don't know. It's just...
What if I told you I've had an orange in my kitchen for over a month and it has not rotted yet? Anyway, it's true. We'll send a picture. So ETC banned here. Is that for his Mosh or his global?
I'd imagine in this rank, bans are going to be primarily target bans. I mean, both Dahaka and ETC do have globals, so maybe they're just worried about the pressure that they can apply on Cursed Hollow. But that looks like Abathur still might be available. I mean, we need to remember that LuBu does have first pick, so they can kind of make something happen if they want to. Kira ban's kind of interesting.
Okay. I mean, Kira, still everyone's learning how to deal with her, especially when she kind of is a stick in the spokes mid-season, you know, and what you're comfortable with playing. So Johanna getting picked up
Johanna first pick. That leaves Abathur open. That leaves Zeratul open. I mean, a lot of like the higher rank playmakers are all still available right now. Maiev, Zeratul, Abathur, Anubarak's still available. We do see Kael'thas and Stukov though. Okay.
Alrighty. Immediately picked up.
I like that, honestly. I mean, Kael'thas, pretty solid. Gets a lot of free damage off in many cases. Stukov, again, pretty solid. Gets some good roots. We've got Rexxar. It's not his best map out there, but a good Rexxar player is scary no matter what map he's on.
Right.
Raynor.
Solid.
Pretty straightforward,
solid
yeah.
Damage.
Solid damage dealer.
Yeah, with the Rexxar in an off lane, you know, it's quite a hike for him and Misha. He and Misha to venture off to that objective. I'm curious which person blue side would pit against him. Seen a lot of Ragnaros.
Yeah, it is
lately.
kind of a strange one. I would see a Ragnaros on this map, especially against a Rexxar. You can apply a lot of pressure. You leave the lane early, Rexxar goes to get one more wave, and then you just lava wave that, so he has to stay there to hold 2 more waves, or he just loses all that experience. At the same time, you get a free objective. You can always trait to get the objective. There's the Anubarak ban. Some tanks that they're actually doing pretty good at locking down the tanks. We still have Diablo up, Falstad, there's the global. So they could throw that in the solo against them if they want to.
How is a Falstad against a Rexxar?
He holds his own. My only concern about it is they're a little squishy with their group right now. That's like my only downside to it. If Diablo charges in and then if they can survive the Diablo, everyone can just walk past the Diablo and kill their backline if they don't have another bruiser. But otherwise, I mean, Falstad does perfectly fine against Rexxar and has a global. We have Rhaegar and Jaina. Rhaegar can handle camps. They actually have a ridiculous amount of like camp and wave clear.
Right.
And there's Leoric. So they'll throw. This is kind of what I was hoping they would do. Is they have the global for objective time, but then they have Leoric to deal with that extra damage. I mean, if this Leoric just goes the ghost build to reduce Jaina and Raynor and Rhaegar and Rexar's damage, honestly, all four of them should be relatively strong fights for Dive Vision. I can see either team making this work, honestly. There's a lot of macro from both teams available. There's pretty good team fights available for both teams. I think it could easily go either way.
I think the Rexar is weird for me for some reason. Other than that, I would agree with you.
I've been finding it's just kind of a comfort pick. I feel like the Rexar, especially in this particular division, I've been seeing it as like a comfort pick so often that so many people are picking Rexar no matter the situations, and it's just, I guess it's just something that they need to do. But
right.
I don't know. Yeah, normally with Rexar, you just pick them on a map that you can like actually, if you win the solo lane, you like win something from it. In this case, it's not a map that you need to win the solo lane. So I personally like Leoric on this map because you don't need to win the solo lane, and then you just have something that can set up for really good team fights. Leoric actually works really well with Diablo for a couple of reasons. If you go Entomb, you Entomb someone, then Diablo can slam them against a wall and get bonus slam damage. But you could also Entomb someone and then just have Diablo breath the whole time while they're trying to get out of that Entomb. So there's a lot of situations where that combo works really well together.
Well, let's
not
get
just
into
that. I mean,
introducing the teams, though.
Sure.
You're mid already. Why don't you go ahead and introduce LuBu on the red side?
LuBu on the red side, we have Alan Hicks playing Rexar. We've got VDZ playing Jaina. We've got Makratov playing Joanna. Bandit playing Raynor, and Streakwing playing Rhaegar.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. Before I get into that, KT almost dropped immediately. But on the blue side, playing for Dive Vision, we have Earl's Help. Sorry, I laugh at names. On Diablo, Phantom Bagel on KT, Falstad being played by Sulfide. Don't look at my camera work. Atlas playing Leoric, and Shamhat on Stukov. All right, so that was a pretty aggressive engagement, and we're seeing like a weird rotation coming out from the red side, going kind of bot to mid here, with Falstad top against Rexar.
Yeah, it looks like they're not really Diver Vision's not really trying to focus too heavily on getting like that 4-man rotation. It looks like they're pretty much just trying to soak every lane safely and abuse the fact that they have a global and the enemies don't. But I do like how LuBu's looking at getting camps pretty early on. It's a good camp to pick up right away as well, because you're going to want to be getting the bruiser camp if you're on red side right now, because the objective is going to be spawning down at bot lane. So picking up this camp right now is perfect. Then the bruiser camp when the objective spawns will really set them ahead. At the same time, I mean, we've got Bribe available. We've got the interesting thing also about Die for Vision is they're about to die because of Vision, because they don't have the vision for really any of these rotations. And I mean, Red Team even took over. LuBu's got the vision on Die for Vision's side, so.
Yeah, Rexar kind of snuck the vision point for the blue side. Stukov's getting it back now. With that siege pushing out and the objective spawning bot, do you feel that it was a little earlier or is perfect to get it at the 1 minute mark? Looks like a blue team is getting theirs right now. But Bruiser was picked up for LuBu.
Yeah, LuBu did want to get that. I mean, the objective spawns down a bot lane, so it'll be cleared for free the second that the objective starts. So normally you want to try to get camps that are in a further lane from the objective so you get more value off of it. And that's why blue team waited to get theirs, because it's in the opposite lane of the objective. So they could have Falstad and the camp push top and fight in a 4v4, and then they could have Falstad jump back down, and suddenly it's a 5v4 with a camp pushing up top with all this extra value up top. So overall, I would say both teams played out the camps pretty well. The only thing that I would have liked to see is Die for Vision grabbing the bruiser camp at about one minute-ish.
Yeah.
Looks like Streakwing might be able to grab this for free. Yep, first objective goes free.
Easy. All right, so Falstad is top with that siege camp. Rexar not being a global, not being a Dahaka, trekking it up there slowly. But that bruiser is available still, and the next objective will be top. And it's
Definitely. It
just a
looks like
very safe
Falstad's
game.
getting a bit of ganks here, but he should be okay.
Ooh.
Still has his dash to get away. Still has his fountain. Now, whenever they send a bunch of people top, you normally want to pressure in another lane. Again, another situation where Diver Vision could have gotten their bruiser camp before this objective, but with this objective coming up, they need to fight over this in some way, some fashion, anyways. Looks like Rexar wants to make sure that Falstad doesn't get down there, but Falstad can always just fly down there. So
Yeah, Misha can be oppressive even if you don't let Misha get oppressive. The ability to just charge can do anything, but the silence coming out from Stukov allows blue team to kind of push forward and knock red team back a bit, but Bandit gets flipped over, and blue's going down pretty low here. That Blizzard is doing quite a bit. Both Leoric and Diablo go down. That's the front line.
yeah, it's kind of a rough build for this Diablo to go, because the big issue about this is his build is all in. He goes in and he has no out, and if he starts getting poked, his choices are go in or let your team lose whatever objective, because he just doesn't have that self-sustain, and Stukov doesn't have a lot of single target healing, so if your tank's taking a lot of unnecessary damage, you just lose. And
Right.
so I'm never a big fan of that build. It's also never picked in competitive. It's also the lowest win rate build on Heroes profile, so it's just a tricky one to be trying to bring into such a competitive game like this.
Well, we do see blue team getting their bruiser right now. Siege picked up again by LuBu. This next objective is top, and
Yeah.
this would be a curse objective for LuBu. So
Yeah.
what do they need to do here in order to deny this?
LuBu's sitting pretty. They just need to kind of hang out, and then they could always clear that bruiser if they need to. Honestly, Diver Vision's done everything that they can. This is a very good objective for them because it's close to their area. If LuBu doesn't get a kill immediately, I would recommend LuBu just back up. And it looks like this objective goes for Diver Vision almost instantly, and everyone just kind of resets from there. So they played it out. I mean, it would be nice if either team had a way to kind of poke a little bit further away so they could interrupt some of these, so it's not just free objectives going one way or another, because they are playing their camps out pretty well. I mean, that was a perfect camp pickup for both teams, but neither team really had the objective last long enough to get value off of it.
Right.
So
All right, so this next one's bot. Jane is already down there. About 4 members of LuBu are kind of ready. The siege camp is being prioritized on the blue side, with 17 seconds still for that tribute.
It's going to take Kael'thas and Stukov way too long to get there. This is a free objective. These are the situations where if I was on Die for Vision, I would either just accept our fate and just let them get this for free, and we just try to defend, or we try to sneak a boss because we have Gust and everything.
Ooh, Apocalypse though, and Gust. Gust not doing much, but Apocalypse at least keeping Rhaegar from getting it. Entomb comes out, and so does Ring of Frost, which is rooting 2 members in place. Flailing Swipe comes out, and unfortunately, Falstad's having to back up here, so he's down and out of this fight, but red team is kind of getting chunked down a bit. Both teams are very low.
Definitely, and a couple bombs ended up interrupting that point a little bit longer, but no other interrupts are going to be able to go out. This is a curse. No deaths, though. I mean, that's pretty good. Oftentimes what I recommend in situations where everything's in favor of the enemy. I mean, it's closer to their fountains. It's their 10s first. You had 2 people that were far away. They could have set up. When I see an objective like that, I take a trade instead. They're going to get the curse. We get a boss. You know,
right.
You try to take a trade. And they didn't get punished for it, which is good. But at the same time, they could have gotten something more. While the enemy's got one thing, you got something. In this case, the enemy's got something and you got nothing. And that's the biggest challenge about that. But otherwise, honestly, they're still playing this pretty good. There's that Entomb, there's a charge.
Having Ice Block already, though, that's awesome.
That's
and Jaina
really
having it. I'm like, what?
Block.
Hello? You thought that too?
Yeah, that's a really fast Ice Block.
Amazing. I want to look at this damage really quick.
Yeah, normally what I tell people, I mean, I said this on
Wow.
stream when I was coaching a little bit ago. I said, if you go Ring of Frost, don't expect to have your ice block done like before level 16. Like level 16 is usually
Jeez.
when you finish it. Ooh, this Leoric's in a really bad spot. He's
Yeah,
gonna be
Leoric
taken up
goes
by
down. This
Fort.
fort is... I don't think the fort's going to be pursued much anymore. I could be wrong, though. Probably am wrong, as they are here taking it down. I don't know if you see that too, Paradox.
I do, yes.
All right, so... Wow. That ice block. Still kind of like, what about that? But this rotation, it looks like they're looking for a pick, maybe. And I
Yep.
think KT is the target. Misha charges
Kill-
in immediately.
Yeah. KT will get dropped real fast. Just something to kind of point out as well is because blue team wasn't going with like a 4-man rotation and red team was, Jaina finished her 20 globes already very quickly.
Yeah.
And KT's only at 13. So if KT would have been done with his right there, there's a good chance he could have just simply used his shield and survived. And that's kind of the challenge about the downside of at least just sitting in lanes.
How do you feel about this constant lane pressure with these forts rather than the macro objectives on the map being pursued? I mean, it's working for them. They're level 13s, but it's a close following, by Die for Vision. I feel like we should have had a boss at one point already in this game, and here we are, just A-ramming mid.
I think it really depends on a lot of things. I mean, their team comp's all about siege damage camps and early game pressure, and they are doing that, except for not so much on the camp side. But they are sieging, they are applying pressure. With their first curse, they got 1 fort. That's not terrible for a first curse. But yeah, I mean, I think so far they're playing it safe when they could be doing a little bit more with what they've got.
Right. This Jaina's a beast. Or else help
She
just
gets
going
out
in.
there.
She's lit up with
So that
that
would've
living
been a-
bomb.
For Diablo players that are trying to learn the Q build, that would have been a great time to use Apocalypse. Even on a single target, this is a bad time to use Apocalypse because everyone can just walk away, right? The only one that he actually hit was Misha. Whenever you're running Apocalypse, you can guarantee that it always stuns at least one person by using Apocalypse, pushing someone, and then flipping them back into your stun. And as long as you can stun at least one person with it, you get more value. To pop
Right.
Apocalypse and have it never stun anyone is like, why don't you just go Breath? You know what I mean? And
Well, the
This one-
positive thing about having that curse early is that there's still an opportunity to pick up momentum. They're both even talent tiers. And even though it's 1-to-1 now with these tributes, I think they can learn from some of these, slight misplays. I was just gonna say, Kavlor said hi, but you read
yeah, I
it.
got it. Yup. Yeah, I was rooting for them for Div C, and some stuff happened, but I'm still proud of them. They play really well. Anyways, yeah, honestly, this is a great time to force a fight. If you're Die for Vision, try to force a couple fights before level 16, but I like to force fights that have rewards, right? Just fighting in lane, what happens if they get a kill here? Nothing, because everything can still be defended. But if they would have fought over maybe an enemy camp or hidden a bush, then they might actually have another chance.
So
I see a bunch of
everyone's
people-
still bot here, and this tribute is up top. This is just a brawl at this point. Ring coming down and just chunking 3 members down immediately. All 3 do go down. APOC, there it is. What's the ROI?
I mean, and again, that's the thing, is it's like what LuBu was trying to do here was they were like, we could give up this objective and take a free fort, right? And so they didn't actually want to fight there. And if they did fight, they're level 16, so their fight is at an advantage. So there's no downside for LuBu to just give up an objective and get a fort here. However, on the opposite side, do you want to fight? Like, do you want to try to force the fight before 16s? Do you want to save your fort? Or do you want to get 1 tribute? And I think that I honestly think that Die for Vision's like, hey, you know what? Let's at least try to fight and see where we get. My problem is they're 0 and 10, right?
Yeah.
They keep forcing fights that they keep losing in. They need to be looking at their comp and going, what are we losing? Why are we losing? And what could we do? What power spike do we actually win at, right? If we keep
Right.
losing these fights, we need to wait for the power spike we start winning at. And I think right now, they don't know when they actually win, and they just keep forcing fights.
Tell me
And
what you
so
feel about
really
this
worrying.
KT build. Looking at it, I'm a little confused, but that's because I don't play KT really. I feel like 16 would be the KT power spike, but not sure if that's what this build. Oh, Misha's getting just manhandled as Ring comes out again with Gust pushing everyone back.
Overall, I mean, I do like that Entomb. It's really good. Jaina does end up living with an amazing ancestral timing. APOC will get a stun here. Decent amount of bombs being passed around, but this is another curse that's going right over to LuBu. So even though this fight was looking a little good for Die for Vision, it's
Yeah,
really getting bad and fast.
yeah, KT.
As far as the KT build, it's relatively standard. That's pretty much the thing about it is he's going to pick up Ignite at this level, and that's a standard KT build. There's only really one variation that's used with his build, and it's level 7. Well, at level 4 and 7, it's just dependent on the team comms. The builds I'm really concerned about, primarily from just looking at this, Stukov, Diablo, Leoric are not the builds I would run against these particular comms, but that's, again, feel free to do you. But
KT
yeah.
hasn't actually picked up the 16 yet, and the only reason I asked is because I only play KT and ARAM, so I'm like, wait, where are all the bombs? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I still usually go this build in ARAM too, but I know ARAM you can go bombs and do really well, but this should be, it's looking like it might be game. If one death is staggered here, this could certainly be game. Ring goes out.
the Ring
It's
missed
just
a little
one.
bit though. Just Diablo,
Ooh,
that
that's a great-
Entomb was decent, and that Ice Block on point, but Jaina's not going to make it. So this is not game. There is a lot of pressure pushing in these lanes though. Experience is still so close. Easily picked up by blue team, but if I were LuBu, I would probably be thinking about boss.
Oh yeah,
But they're
seriously.
They
Yeah, I
have
mean,
2 down.
I think Die for Vision should get a boss right now,
Uh-huh,
honestly. And they could go double
100%.
boss it, honestly. They have Gust. Like, they do one boss, it's going to take them 20 seconds. They travel, it's going to take 10 seconds. They get to the other boss, they're going to have Gust up, they're going to have Entomb up, they're going to have APOC, they're going to have Phoenix. And the craziest part is another thing that I'm not seeing them do, which they have this really cool combo that they're just not abusing. You can Entomb 2 people in there, and then you can Gust everyone else away. And you can also Gust the people in the Entomb, which locks them up against the wall. APOC, which during the time they're being pushed up against the wall, they're going to get stunned by the APOC. But they're just not abusing it. Every time they Entomb, they pretty much just force a fight. And it's like, you could Entomb, push everyone else away, and automatically win the fight. They have this really cool combo that they're just not... I feel like they're just not seeing it.
Ooh, that Entomb comes out just for Amisha, which is interesting. Ring of Frost again coming out. Stukov is using Flailing Swipe to knock them back, and APOC comes out, but really does nothing. Was that a Bloodlust I saw? No, it wasn't.
I sure hope so. Oh no, it was Ancestral Healing. So, and that's another thing that, like, that was on that Diablo, honestly. Entomb goes out, Diablo can smack him against one wall, reposition, flip, and then smack him against a different wall. But instead, he charged in and then pulled Amisha out of the Entomb. I don't think I would have used an Entomb on Amisha to begin with, but still, it's like, that could have been just a free Misha kill, and then they could have grabbed the boss.
I think this is a free top boss for LuBu, or Die for Vision rather, if they pursued it, because all of LuBu is headed bot. The tribute is bot. Would it be wise to forego this for that boss?
Oh yeah, I would take the boss. The really no one's close to a curse. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad one to go, but look at the level really quick. Do you want to try to fight the enemies at level 20 on the curse? No, because it doesn't even get you a curse. I would take this boss 100%.
100%. They did get the siege camp as well, so LuBu's going to be able to snag that tribute. Maybe not even aware that they're up there. Jaina is kind of going to peek a bit. She does throw a blizzard down right as it is captured, and this is putting Die for Vision back on the map. They're going to get 20 right here at this fort, and all they need is one good team fight.
Definitely. And let's see some of the talents we get picked up. Epic Mounts, not usually what's picked up. Flamethrower is always good. Controlled Chaos is always good. Buried Alive, always good. Hellgate's always good. We've got the Kill Command that roots everyone on the enemy team. If that roots everyone on the enemy team before in Ring, it could be game over. But the Ring comes out first.
Gust came out as well, and this boss is on the keep. Phoenix zoning some of the members out. Bandit on that Rainer, just doing some consistent damage, but not really being able to do too much. Red team is chunked down a bit. They're all up and alive. Diablo doing whatever that talent is where he blinks forward and does APOC. And oh, the stasis, the drop dead on the Rexar, my favorite. Does not save him, but this can't be it. Diablo is so low, they're having to back up. Bandit, though, is lit up with that living bomb, and they can't quite finish anyone off. Shamhat doing an excellent job with flailing swipe to keep them at bay. That was close. Too close for comfort in getting out of there.
It really was. Very well played, honestly. It looks like Vision's going to take a decent amount of damage on the core. Both teams are going to have some damage on the core. The challenge about this map, too, is once the keeps are available, Curse isn't that valuable anymore. Curse is great for getting a lot of value, for getting all these structures down. But once the core's open, all it takes is one good team fight. And that's kind of the point we're at right now. If 4 people go down on either team, even 3 people go down on either team, while the other team doesn't lose anyone, it's game over. The whole game is just done. So I honestly think that if all Vision needs to do right now is get their combos down a little bit, right? Buried Alive grabs Jaina because she can't ice block while she's silenced. If they grab Rexar, Jaina, even Rhaegar, and then gust everyone else away, they win. That's pretty much all it is. And as far as the other team, I mean, they've got Unleash the Boars, which will root everyone, followed by a ring. They win the game. It could literally just come down to 1 or 2 of those things. I think teams should be abusing the ambushes right now, and that's exactly what it looks like Vision's going to be doing.
Yeah.
They're going to set up an ambush.
An unconventional
but
bush
on
of
the other side, honestly, Joanna could just press E and reveal this, and they don't have to do an issue. And it looks like they ended up not doing the ambush the way that they could have. And we're taking a pretty chaotic fight here.
Decent APOC that time with Ring coming out too. Diablo having to back up every time he is getting chunked down, but these living bombs are just insane at this point. All of the members were at 50% or less for the side of LuBu, and the curse is actually picked up for Vision. They're not going to stop fighting though. Looks like red team wants to back up, and blue team does not want them to. Ooh, Johanna doing her best. They're going to chase them maybe to the keep? Nope, they're deciding to go for mid-fort. In chat saying, too close for comfort. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this is going to be an interesting curse, though. They should be able to open up some keeps here, but they need to be careful about the resources they use. They use too many resources here. Ooh.
That Jaina pick was huge here with this curse.
They could have punished the Falstad and taken him out, but they didn't actually go for it.
Rexar is being punished with that silence dropping underneath the entomb, not allowing Johanna to really get in there and help whatsoever. Double silence has to feel bad, and is this... I can't even say this is game yet because everyone's health is still getting chunked. The curse is over in 4 seconds. But the core is at 15%. It is game.
Yeah.
It is 100%. 1% 0. GG. That W going over to Vision, who started off in a rough place.
Oh yeah, the beginning of that game. Honestly, like this is again one of those maps where it's like you need to find a way to close it out, and I think I'm pretty sure you called it early on. You're like, we're not seeing any bosses, and I think that's something that we really should have seen. They had Rainer, they had Jaina, they could blow through bosses so quickly, and they could have just grabbed a couple bosses out there instead of one of those objectives. For example, the level 20 fight, they had the boss available, and it was pretty obvious the enemies weren't going to be there. They could have fought them at boss and ended the game. Overall, either team, it could have just came down to a couple fights. That entire early game advantage from Vision just got... Sorry, I need to turn back on my camera. I apologize for that. The whole early game for Vision was just terrible. I mean, like, they were struggling in every single area they went into. And they just played a couple team fights good. Normally, when you have that disadvantage, you want to just take trades, which is exactly what they did. They played from behind really, really well. But the other side, when we were looking at LuBu, I really wish we would have seen them push their lead a little bit better. When they got a
Yeah.
couple, like a talent tier lead, they needed to take a fort. When they got a level 20 lead, they should have been focusing on a keep or a boss or
Right.
some
Well,
major play like that.
Diver Vision was getting their boss bot, LuBu had their boss top available, and they were mid. You know, there was the
Yeah,
opportunity there to counter, give that counter pressure, but instead,
of course.
the
Seriously.
Diver Vision ended up getting that boss too, and so it was the late game that really won. I mean, maybe the
Hmm.
wombos didn't land as expected, but um, it was all about making it to the late game. I guess. I guess on this map, like, if you got to play it safe, you got to play it safe. I don't know. Where are we headed next?
I have no idea.
I was just invited. Ooh, you're gonna love it. I don't know, actually, if you will.
If it's Hanamura, I'm
It's
done.
Towers of
I'm
Doom.
out.
No, this
Okay, I'll
this
take
league doesn't
towers.
allow Hanamura. Don't worry.
Okay, I was watching Heroes Hype, and I'm like, why is everyone Hanamura? And no one did any sort of cheese. I'm like, why are people picking Hanamura without cheesing it?
Wait, so they're not just getting the actual objectives of the camps and just cheesing the towers?
I mean, they're focusing on like on the camps, right? They're focusing on the
Yeah,
camps,
those are the objectives.
But I was like, why are you picking that map without having like a better plan? You know, like something where you're running like a Gazlo or a Sylvanas to buff them up and turn off structures. So that like the second that you see the enemies at the actual objective, you just drop down 3 buff turrets and you turn off all the structures and instantly take a keep. It's
Right,
like,
right, right.
why is that not the thing? Why is that not? And then you run like a foul stat to just gust everyone away. So you take a keep, gust everyone away, and just your whole team gets out safe. I'm like, that should be the cheese. If you're gonna pick Hanamura in the highest levels of competitive, you should have a plan like that. And it just surprised me that everyone's like, let's run Uther main tank, and then they just lose. I'm like,
Everyone looks
why?
for like the best map to just play in a brawl. Like it's a brawl map now.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
turned
say with
into like just brawling. ARAM.
yeah, like BOE. I always say whenever I see BOE, I'm like, okay, the teams just want to take a team fight. You know, they don't actually want to like play the map. They just want to take a team fight. And then you just draft one person who can race, and everything else in your team is just team fight oriented.
So
like,
really quickly, Die for Vision picked Towers of Doom, meaning that LuBu has first pick. And we have this lobby all set up. I'm going to let them know that we're ready. Are you ready?
yeah, we are ready.
What are you
Yep.
drinking? I saw you
Just
sip
water.
Yeah.
It's just
Nice.
water.
Agua,
But it's
as they
refilled, so
say.
this says like, oh, it's the electrolyte. It's just refilled water.
I love that Walgreens has that brand that's nice. It's just
Nice.
nice water, nice banana chips, whatever you buy. You know, it's nice.
Nice.
All right.
I always think it's funny when like a brand name is supposed to be like when someone's like, "Oh, nice isn't good." It's like, no, it says it's nice. Like whenever the brand name makes it hard to like argue about it. Like one of the ones that I always laugh about is like it works because there's not a lot of studies. They always have like these crazy products and there's not a lot of studies to back them up. So it's like, oh, but it's called it works, so you can't argue against it. If you're ever like it works doesn't work, people are like, oh, what that sounds so stupid. It's like, no, it's just has a dumb name.
It's like naming a child beautiful or something, and then they grow up. And
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. No, I get it. That's their name, but like the actual meaning, no.
Have you ever seen that thing where there's that lady on she's on like Good Morning UK or whatever it is, and she's like, I think people who name their kids something with a location is trashy. She's like Brooklyn, that's trashy. And the guy's like, isn't your daughter's name India or something like that? It was like the fun. I might have the names reversed. I want to say she's like, oh, if they name it India, that's trashy. And the guy's like, isn't your daughter's name Brooklyn?
Oh,
And it was
my
like
God.
the funniest thing. Oh man.
No, I haven't seen that, but now I need to look into it. Valkymer's saying, felt like LuBu could have gotten 2 keeps during their curse and they went core instead without enough time.
Yeah, I think, and also the curse doesn't help you get core, and that's the biggest thing that people need to realize. Like, you want to try to get as many keeps as possible during a curse phase, and then right as you realize you're ahead, then you go for core. But on
Also,
Towers of
they
Doom,
had a boss pushing top when they got curse, I thought, and I think they just kept that momentum going.
yes, Die for Vision grabbed the boss when LuBu grabbed the second curse of the game, or the
Oh, wait,
their
hold on.
second curse.
I'm misreading this. Yeah, my bad. And hello, Valkymer. I saw you. Thank you for the shout out. I am your Knightus. What's the female version of knight?
Can you not have female knights?
Right. I just think that it should have like a different suffix. Like it should have knightette or something. All right. All these bands.
I don't know. Same bands as last time, except we have a Kael'thas in there. Towers of Doom, this is actually another map that we'll see Abathur here and there. In this case, because we didn't see Abathur on his best map, I know we're not going to see Abathur on Towers of Doom. So the current strategy on Towers of Doom is usually draft heavy siege and something that can double soak. Then you double soak a lane, have everyone just dominate down a bot lane, and just siege like crazy. So it's pretty common to see something like a Sylvanas, a Grey Mane. In this case, we have Stukov and Hanzo. Hanzo's siege is pretty bad. His wave clear is kind of bad now. I'm curious why they decided to go with him. Same with Rexar.
There's a Rexar again. Really quick, Hero Physio. Thought you were retired. Hello, coming into chat. What kind of crossover world is this? Interesting question, but I will tell you I am wearing a sweater even though I don't live in Canada where it's fall. My air is set at 68 though. All right, Lucio. Huh.
Lucio, popular in this rank, honestly, around these divisions. I don't think he's a bad hero. I just don't like that he's a support that doesn't really have any follow-up. He's great as a win more hero. If you're already winning, then you can kind of increase your team's movement speed and just roll over the enemies. But if you start losing as a Lucio, your team just gets bursted left and right. Your healing's too slow, your ults are too slow, you're getting CC'd, locked down. So unless you're using him as like a gimmick, he's just a win more. And it's tricky because they were winning in the beginning. So if they have the same results they had last time, they might be able to use this Lucio to end the game. But without a lot of siege damage, this is going to look a little tricky.
A little tricky. Quickly about that. Oh, wait, hold on. Blaze getting picked up as well as Muradin on Towers of Doom.
I mean, these are beefy teams for a map that doesn't require you to sit on an objective. Jaina and Raynor again. I mean, solid damage. Now they've got a Lucio to kind of bring him around the fight, around the map.
I mean, I love the Jaina Raynor. We have Orphea here. Let's think about those sappers and the importance of that bottom lane, the ability to quickly get those. Raynor, if zone, being able to stand in the back line and auto attack, even having a double front line, like he does quite a bit. I'm a little concerned for Die for Vision's comp and draft here.
I really prefer LuBu's draft, honestly. I think that while I'm not a huge fan of like the Rexar and Lucio, their play styles, I think that the way LuBu has been playing, I think those are good picks for them. They've tended to get a lot of value in the early game, and Lucio's great when you have that little bit of a lead. Rexar, I mean, he works in this map. If you're tricky and you're good at like kind of baiting the enemy, you could actually sneak a camp with Rexar on this map if you change your build around a little bit, because you can be pushing the wave with your Q, and then you can have your bear just constantly be grabbing the. I'm worried that Die for Visions is, they have no siege damage.
Yeah, that's a little concerning. Maybe it's just for sustain and damage outlasting the squishies. Quickly before we get into introducing the teams, Weenus, thank you so much for the subscription, 6 months in a row now, and the 69 berries. Appreciate it. On the blue side, playing for Die for Vision, though, we have Shamhat on the Stukov, Sulfide on Orphea, Phantom Bagel playing Hanzo, Atlas on Blaze, and Earl's Help on Muradin.
On the right side, we have LuBu with VDZ playing that Jaina again. It was really mean that last time. Bandit on Raynor again. Makrata on Joanna again. Alan Hicks on Rexar again. And we've got Streakwing on Lucio.
Let's do it. Towers of Doom. The infamous map.
Infamous map. Always has like... Whenever this is in like the competitive scene, it always ends up being a map that just is wild. It's pretty rare that one team will just roll over the other team on this map, because it's just an easy map to where you can give up objectives and wait for power spikes.
Ooh,
so
camera going crazy. Hope you're doing your own camera work, because you might have an epileptic episode watching mine. Sorry, chat. Okay, so Hanzo's staying mid, and we're seeing like a rotation, 5 seconds until the sappers spawn. I feel like typically people go for those immediately, but maybe LuBu is looking for a gank on that Hanzo, not really successful. Instead, engaging with their sappers immediately, and blue side kind of struggling behind.
It's a really rough composition. They don't have a lot of wave clear. I mean, their best wave clear is Orphea, and they don't have a lot of cam clear. They really have no one that does cams quickly. So it's going to be a matter of really trying to bully them. You can see that even Blaze is rotating down to try to hold the wave so that Hanzo can help out. This is going to be a really rough situation.
Yeah, excellent zoning silence by Stukov though, and Johanna kind of stepping in, but being stopped so that either side can get their sappers. But this bush right here on that rotational, I don't know, what would you call that? Delta? Rotational delta?
Yes.
Help
delta.
me, someone help me.
Let's roll with a delta.
Just keep going. It's the rotational delta.
So the interesting thing, so the sappers were escorted on LuBu's side, and it looks like the sappers are also going to be escorted through there. There are some little tricks that you can stop those sappers from going in. You can still silence the sappers, so that because for whatever reason their suicide is considered an ability. And you can also still knock them back as Lucio. Neither team really tried too hard. They just took the hit. So both structures are pretty low. Looks like Jaina is maybe going to be taking out Hanzo, but she's still focusing on getting those globes really quickly, double soaking lanes.
Oh, wait.
She's already at 7
Where did Orphea
globes.
die? I went to look mid, and then Orphea's dead.
She's gone. She's gone during rotations.
Isn't this her home map? Shouldn't she die here? Not die here?
This, yes.
Please don't lure me. Don't lure me. I can't.
Orphea is technically not from here. It's just that her dad decided to take over this land when he was collecting all of the energy from the Nexus crystals. So technically, this is not actually her homeland. Orphea is actually from the Dragonshire realm, and she is only in there. But her dad was also going to be taking over that realm as well. No, I have no idea. But
much better than articulating how Hanzo or Lucio died there, with blue side managing to pick up their altar and also grab this one here. How oppressive.
Yeah, I mean, Diver Vision's like, you know what? We're not going to fight over that one down there. We're just going to invade. This is actually a common trick that's done when one of the teams has a global and the other one doesn't, is instead you just all attack wherever the global hero is. So instead of letting them get the value of the global, for example, so the objective's usually bottom and then the 2 top areas, you know that 4 people are going to go bot to fight 4 people there, and then you'll have the global who'll get there first. A lot of teams in the competitive scene, if you don't have a global, you just gank the global hero and then take their objective. And that's kind of what they did here. It's a pretty good strategy to sneak out, and Diver Vision's back in this game. They're ready to go, and in fact, they're coming out ahead now.
Yeah, and they're already on the sapper camp on the other side of the map, which with the slower clear means that they had to be there quite a while, and that has been up for a little bit. The timers were staggered because the left side took longer to get. Now theirs is available, and if they're able to get a pick here, which Jaina is looking low, I don't know. Johanna using her D shield is able to make it out. It was interesting, they had 2 people top, and it was just this weird rotation allowing them to get the upper hand a bit down here bottom lane, and now they're going for theirs.
It's yeah, I mean, Diver Vision, they're playing this out pretty well. I'm still just worried about their team comp. They do camps really slow, they do waves really slow. I'd imagine if they get behind it all, they're never gonna be able to take anything back.
They just have to stay ahead. Valkymer red shirting you in chat. We'll ignore. It was a joke, Valkymer. All right, these sappers are pushing in. The objective is bot bandit. Looking to channel. It was interrupted, and now blue team is trying to rotate in with Rexar doing his best to body them. But Atlas on that Blaze, zoning them out, and the Muradin as well. I think that was the plan. That's the double front line, is just zone red team out Kill their tanks, because that's who died. Johanna's been low a couple times. There's Rexar and Jaina. And pick up this tower, this altar. Only one tower left, and it is like invisible practically. Its health bar, yeah, it took an auto attack and it's gone. These sappers are going to make it into this fort.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. Honestly, I don't know. The two tanks is gonna be really hard to deal with. I would say around maybe level 13 when Jaina gets Icy Veins and she can just throw all of her abilities out and really scare off the front line. That's when they'll have a chance to really apply some pressure, or they need to just give up with this fighting mentality and they just need to go and start winning in the macro side of this game. They need to just start taking all the camps in the map because they have better camp clear. Oh, we do see a couple
Lucio having to use his ultimate. Oh, and the arrow from Hanzo comes out. Speaking of which, ultimates were picked up. Eternal Feast was picked up by Orphea Avatar, by Muradin Bunker, by Blaze, whatever, Dragon's Arrow, I'm like, whatever it's called, by Hanzo, and Flailing Swipe by Stukov.
Yep, on the other side we've got Ring, we've got Rainer's Raiders, Blessed Shield, Unleash the Boars, and Sound Barrier.
Alright, it's a fight over Sapper Camp. Ring
goes out.
Oh, Johanna came over to Orphea and then backed away, but Orphea was so low. Had she committed to that?
I mean,
Interesting.
Sappers do come out. I mean, there are actually a lot of power spikes for LuBu because they also hit the level 16 power spike for Lucio and that extra damage at 13. So a lot of these fights, I would actually just be willing to give up a couple of these objectives and try to just get value elsewhere until you get 16s.
Yeah, let me fix my overlay. It's usually a game that I play. Just kidding, it's unintentional where you can't see the core health, but I realize on this map it's more imperative. After this fight, which was an explosion causing Rexar to go down and Lucio after that, this Eternal Feast is actually showing some value here, as you rarely see Bandit's not going to make it either. That's a 5-man team wipe.
It is. Right here, they should take bottom. I wouldn't even grab this camp right now. I would get bottom down to about 10 health. I'd go and get mid down to about 10 health, and then you can always grab both of them before the next objective spawns. Or you could just hold bottom forever. And with a Q build Hanzo, once he gets Pierce, he can pretty much instantly wipe the entire wave and you won't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this is really good for Diver Vision. And like I said, I really felt like LuBu should have just given that objective. They're not at any of their power spikes yet. They are going to struggle in all of these team fights until they hit those power spikes. And it would be better for them to, like Diver Vision did in that last game, take trades when you know you're going to lose something. And they knew they were going to lose that. I mean, I don't think they knew they were going to lose that, but I knew they were going to lose that. And they should have been taking trades. They could have taken top camps. They could have pushed. They could have done 30 other different things while they were doing it. So, I don't know.
I think it's a very team fight heavy mentality. We saw this on Cursed Hollow. We're seeing it here. It's like rotate and gank, rotate and gank. Both teams are looking to do it. Rexar and Misha go down. Poor Misha. Like, what did she deserve? Like, how did she deserve that? By the way, overlay fixed. Deal with the hideousness. And 2 altars now. Rexar, dead for 13 more seconds with Blaze picking up the top sappers. Continuous pressure, weird rotation, leaving Jaina caught out and just immediately exploded by that Orphea. All of the ultimates seem to be coming out, and
oh yeah, and this is the possibility of 10 damage. If they can get one more kill here, all they do is walk up, destroy this, grab both of the things, and they're done. 10 damage, huge.
What's interesting is that this bottom fort is at very little health, and the objective mid is already being channeled. They could almost have more damage, but that sucks. It's hanging on by a thread. It was.
Oh yeah, if I was Blaze, I would have just walked down, done some fire. But I think they're just playing it safe. But they've been winning every team fight, so it's like you really don't need to play it that safe.
Thanks, retired hero. It is a work of art. Yeah,
still
that
9
was
damage.
Yeah. And there it is.
And
Sapper's available again, but Jaina continues to kind of overstep and get poked to the point of not being able to go back in. Hanzo able to just chunk her down and finish her off. And every time I cast this map, I repeat the redundant, this is the ultimate comeback map. Although it is that, it's time to kind of like, ooh, okay, we need 13 and we need a fight.
I think the biggest challenge about having comebacks is you need to make sure that you're not constantly taking bad fights. The reason why it's such a good comeback map is because you can give objectives and you don't lose anything. All you lose is some core health, but you don't actually lose anything outside of that. So if they keep taking these bad fights over and over and over, they're not going to come back in this game. Now, we do finally have Icy Veins. That's good. We've got the Blessed Hammer. We've got the extra attack speed on Rexar. Rexar can finally start doing some DPS to people and bringing them down. But we still don't have that level 16 power spike for LuBu. And we do have full 3-level lead, level 16s on Die for Vision. So, but this is a pretty good hold.
They're able to get it back. Yeah, they're able to get that fort back. Blaze has already initiated the fight over the sappers on their side, and now we have 3 altars spawning. They're still at a talent tier disadvantage for the side of LuBu. Does that mean they can't win this fight? Ooh, Blessed Shield does come out though.
Ooh,
and
that's rough.
Ooh, Rexar goes down with the Ring of Frost coming out as well. Blizzard on top of Shamhat on that Stukov at the same time. Eternal Feast kind of zoning Jaina out and around Shamhat, hopping into the bunker just to live and to see another fight, and all the while Johanna does die. Shamhat coming back out, and Lucio is just wall riding for his life, but rather he died. That's game.
This could be game right here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, as I said, I was like, before that fight even started, I'm like, they just need to take their safe one. They're down level 16s. They're down 3 levels. There's no way. And that's a struggle. So that is 12 damage.
Yeah, definitely. That's GG. That's a 2-0 for Die for Vision for Division C East. I believe playoff. Is this a coastal playoff game? Someone correct me. I had a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. And wow.
For all the staff. I'm just kidding. I'm not
So
going into
for we look at the draft and both of us are like, yeah, I don't know. I personally was like, I'm not comfortable with this side, with Die for Vision's comp. And they played what they were comfortable with, and they played it well,
Mm-hmm.
They were able to
I
just have what they needed.
If you were looking at more like meta picks, I definitely think Die for Vision lost in draft, but they won in play. They played out a couple things. A little rocky at the start. They won one good fight down at a camp, and they held that lead for the entire game. I really think it came down to LuBu just taking repeated fights that they shouldn't. This is one of those, again, it's the main map. You can just give up the objective if you feel like you're not going to win that fight. And they repeatedly took fights that were bad on objectives, repeatedly. And once they realized they couldn't get through that front line, they should have learned really fast to look at their team and go, how do we get through this? How do we do this? But they didn't. So, congrats to Die for Vision. They played it really well.
Yeah. Big congrats. I'm going to see if Shamhat would like to do an interview. Shamhat was also on the Late Night Face Check, I believe an episode where you curated one of the jokes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Valkymer. No. Ultimate fact checker in chat right now.
I think Serenian was my favorite joke. That was the ETC mosh pit one. I don't remember any of the other jokes that I came up with.
It's a dance party.
I don't remember any of the other jokes I came up with, and they were all so bad, but
yeah, they were.
The ETC joke, I was proud of that stupid joke.
I know, and that's why it's there, and it's immortalized.
It's immortalized.
All right, I'm trying to set the interview up. I'm going to give some quick shout outs in chat. I am eating cookies right now. Thank you so much for the follow, Kavlor, Ronan0089, and Ronnie B. Thank you. One day, I won't be losing my voice. Not today. All right, so we're going to interview Shamhat. Let's hop into a lobby. I'll hide your camera, and because no one wants to see Not Paradox. I'm kidding. Everyone does. I will hide my camera. Let's go.
Oh. Am I
I
supposed
don't
to
know.
be
I have
leaving?
I have to find a
What
lobby.
lobby are we doing?
Let's do the lobby I'm going into, number 2.
I don't know if lobby 2 is the right one. Let's
Okay.
go with lobby 3.
Did you drag me down? You just dragged me down.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Let's switch it. Let's switch it up. Actually, I don't know. 3?
You don't like 3? All right, just drag me where you need to go.
No, I'm good. I'm just trying to hide the. Hey, what's up, Shamhat? Sorry, technical difficulties over here.
No worries.
So while she's working on
Yeah,
that,
please. I'm like,
how'd you feel about that set? Was there any point that you were worried? Was there any point you guys felt like you were in a really good spot? I mean, what was the biggest point you guys were worried in either game?
Yeah, great question. The first game was a really good game. It wasn't looking so hot for us. We had a lot of very bad picks on us. They caught us out of position and punished it every time, which was great for them, not for us. But we were a little worried, but we held it together and came out with a win.
Yeah, the first game it got a little rocky there. I mean, I think you guys were down 10 kills at the start, and then you guys just started winning at just fight after fight after fight. Was there a specific thing in those fights you felt like really like? Was there a power spike you hit that just made it work? Certain talent that was picked up, or do you think you guys were just kind of getting a little bit more coordinated from that point on?
I think we had a kill boss, which definitely skills well. But honestly, I think it was more we made adjustments with our positioning. Our kill toss was up a lot and getting picked early, and as a result, I was too, and so we just kept saying, we got to stay behind the tank and not do that. And honestly, I think that adjustment and as well as 16 and beyond is kind of what turned it for us.
Okay. And then one last one from me, and then Slexia can take all of them. So the second game, you guys kind of just stomped. You guys did so well. But at the start of the draft, I was like, oh, I'm not a huge fan of the team comp because they don't have a lot of siege. Their camps are a little slow. And I was like, I'm a little worried about that. But you guys did so well. What was your plan with that? Did you just pick comfort picks, or was there a specific plan you were going for this last game?
Yeah, great question again. Thank you. So we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to draft. We were anticipating what they would draft. We kind of figured if we didn't ban out the Lucio, that's what they would pick. So we were expecting that. Um, and we feel comfortable on that map with our rotations. So we kind of did a little bit of a mix of comfort pick, but also what we knew we could play with, if that makes sense, based on what we wanted to do with our rotating and stuff. And I think it worked out for us. We had a pretty good time with our rotations.
Oh, definitely. You guys played so well. Yeah,
You.
those are my questions. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you.
um, I don't ever have questions. So maybe I do. I do not. I'll ask from chat. How do you feel about holding the record on the late night face check lightning round? Coming from Valcomer.
Hi Valk, and hi Valk's mom as always. Gotta give her a shout out. I feel really good about that. I'm not gonna say that I wish I had an official plaque hanging on my wall behind my computer, but if that happened, uh, I would be pretty happy about it.
Valk, you need to find someone to work on that for you. Moving on. That bunker, one towards one of the last fights when you hopped in that with no health and the Lucio was just on a wall riding. Tell me what was going through your physical self at that moment.
I was screaming, like literally screaming. Just no words, just sounds were coming out of my mouth.
My god.
Spamming my heel, trying to hit myself. And I know Streakwing is such a good Lucio. I was like, I have 2 health. He's going to come zipping in. He's going to hit me and I'm going to die. And our Blaze was screaming over my screams.
Oh my god.
Bunker, get in. And it was just long enough to save my life.
It was
And yeah,
awesome.
to Streak Wing's credit, he did try to come in and pick me, but I think honestly luck has saved me with that fight. So
Yeah, it was very close. I never have any questions prepared because I just don't have my ish together, you know what I mean? So let's do you have anything else, Paradox? Because I want to let her have some time to shout out her team. Because you guys are now
No,
the coastal playoff people, right? This was a coastal thing, like you're representing East now, or
yes, yeah.
perfect. All right, so no questions from him. Let's get some shout outs.
Well, obviously, I will shout out the casters. Thank you all for picking up our game, taking the time to cast it. We appreciate it for sure. I want to shout out LuBu. They're so fun to play. One of our favorite teams. We were looking forward to this game once we saw them win on Monday night. So I'm glad we could turn it around and 2-0 them. They 2-0'd us earlier this season, and I feel like honestly both of us have grown a lot. So playing them was a great time. And then yeah, shout out my team for being great and for sticking strong. Even though WoW Classic is out, and I know half of them would rather be doing that, we are still
Right.
getting our practices in. So yeah.
Cool. Well, congratulations. I look forward to seeing you guys play more games very soon as we are at the end of the season. And that's pretty much it from us.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
all right. Thank
Have a
you and
fabulous
congratulations.
night.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. We are back. Chat really
Yeah.
quickly. Okay, Valk's mom. Okay. Work on the plaque. So that was quick. That was a quick 2-0. We're done
Mhm.
here. So why don't you let everyone know who you are, where they can find
Yeah,
you?
if you guys don't know me, not Paradox, I've got a YouTube channel, primarily Here's the Storm content. I throw in random other games I'm playing at the time, like WoW Classic. I might have some Borderlands 3 game play coming out soon as well. But I always try to throw either psychology or philosophy into my videos. If you haven't seen that before, check out youtube.com/not paradox. I am still the largest Heroes of Storm educator. So that's kind of all that. But I do want to give a small shout out to a tournament that I'm doing this Sunday. It is a 1-versus-1 tournament, will be prized. Not 100% sure what the prize is yet, probably like $20 VNet credit. Rules and all that will be posted later. But if you guys are the solo laner of your team and you want to show off your 1v1 skills, check out that tournament when it gets posted. I'll probably be putting it on Reddit tomorrow. And then again, it'll be available on various areas. So just feel free to follow any of my social media. But yeah, seriously. Then other than that, not too much going on. Thank you for
Nice.
having me on.
No,
Let me
thank you
co-cast.
for coming through with the Clutch co-cast. All of my pocket co-casters are just MIA, and it feels bad, but you're so much fun to cast with. I'm Slexia. I am pretty much a nobody, but I'm here on Twitch playing games and doing other stuff I can't promote because I am not Paradox. Anyway,
Oh,
check me out. Check out my show that you may have seen pop up from Nightbot. And thank you so much for watching. I'm done. Toodles. Let me play a transitioning and get out of here.